All right, all right, all right. How's everybody doing on this Friday night? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope that you had a good week. I know that I've been live pretty much every night this week. I hope that you're not getting tired of this old 12 gauge. My name is 12 Gauge, and this is my channel, 12 Gauge Investigative. I hope everybody's doing okay. Welcome. Welcome. I do want to put down a little bit of chat rules. If you decide to chat in here, do understand that this is a safe place for people to land to come and chat without the fear of getting attacked or getting into disagreements and arguments about certain thought that you might have. We do keep it classy in here. So, here we are again. Let me change the background because that's going to drive me crazy after a while. I was watching this earlier and it made me so really. I didn't watch all of it because it was so disturbing. When a child gets hurt, I don't know. I don't know what's up with people and how they can hurt innocent children, especially those that can't defend themselves, you know? Let me turn the camera on. There I am. Let me go ahead and get this up here. Hopefully it'll let me play the whole thing without copyrighting me. And this is from, it's called, let's see. It's called Mom Realizes She Murders Her Daughter, and it's by Explore With Us. And I am just doing this under fair use. So I'm doing it to commentate their video. Nothing else, nothing more. So let's go ahead and get started because it's kind of disturbing, but I hope you enjoy it. And here we go.
911, what's the address of your emergency? 911. Hello, 911.
Hey, I got emergency, man, like real quick.
Okay, sir, what's going on?
Our daughter was locked in the car. Baby.
What is your name?
My name's Larry King.
Hello?
Sir, I know that.
Sir, what is going on there? I can't understand what you're saying.
Look, my girlfriend, she put her daughter in the car, man. She went to get in, the damn door was locked and locked out.
Okay, sir, is she stuck in the vehicle still?
Look, man, we got out. She's gone, man.
You believe that she's beyond help?
I know, man. She's not breathing, man.
Ready to turn around, put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for the charge of homicide.
Oh my God, no! Oh my God! Oh my God! I was just in the bad dream. Oh my God! That is not a bad dream.
Wake up!
So, as you saw there, her daughter was in the vehicle and she locked her in and she passed away.
It's a nightmare.
We will never know exactly when the nightmare began for 13-year-old Christina Pangalangan, but it came to an agonizing conclusion on August 5th, 2019, when she was tossed into a car by her mother's boyfriend, Larry Eugene King, unable to move or even scream for help. How her mother went from being a two-time award-winning teacher to spending quality time with her lover while Christina succumbed to extreme heat stroke remains to be seen. Hauntingly, police would have to uncover if this was an accidental tragedy or intentional and malicious. In a series of exclusive interviews, Iwu obtained new information about this shocking case, including a never-before-heard conversation with the perpetrator. Christina was diagnosed with cerebral palsy and epilepsy at an early age. This resulted in developmental delays, limited mobility, and other challenges. She didn't speak, however, one of her mother's former roommates said she communicated effectively with expressions and gestures.
Please my camp urchin. Bye there. Bye there. Had a great time this year.
Christina could sometimes stand or walk a little bit, but mainly got around by crawling, scooting across the floor, or using a wheelchair. Still, she relied heavily on her single mother and main caregiver, Rita, to meet her needs.
Look, my little sister standing up on her own feet. I'm so proud of you.
According to Christina's older sisters, she was always cared for. But somewhere along the line, something went wrong. When the police arrived at Larry King's house in Colleton County, South Carolina on August 5, 2019, the Volkswagen Jetta where Christina perished was parked in the front yard.
I don't know about you guys, but most cars these days they won't let you lock the doors if you have the car in the ignition. So I don't know how this was possible, and it was so sad. Wouldn't you have busted out the window, though? Any of you mothers in the room, or grandmothers, or anything, fathers, wouldn't you have busted out a window if you were fearful that your child was in there?
It belonged to Christina's mother, Rita Pangalangan, who had been in an on-and-off relationship with Larry for the past 4 years. The pair had only recently reconciled after some time apart. Tragically, Larry's belief that Christina was beyond help turned out to be true. There was nothing emergency medical personnel could do for Christina by the time they arrived. How long it took for her to succumb to the rising temperatures inside the car was yet to be determined. The security camera mounted on Larry's front porch proved to be instrumental in uncovering answers. It also revealed shocking and unthinkable twists in this chilling case. Police brought Rita and Larry to the police station to try and determine how something so horrible could have happened to 13-year-old Christina.
You're right. And she had cerebral palsy, so she couldn't walk on her own, and she wasn't able to, lift herself up out of the place. So, she was basically trapped in there, and those windows, I would have been busting out windows too. Windows are replaceable. You can't put a price on your child's life like that.
While Larry settled in quietly, Rita had a far different response.
You can have a seat right here in this chair for me, okay?
Yes, sir.
If at any point you need anything, just let me know. You can say it when we're listening, okay? So if you need the restroom, you need something to drink or whatever. I don't have any of those. I'll come out things that make you, what you need to live.
The police would probably soon regret listening because Rita was about to launch into one of the most taxing emotional outbursts ever seen.
Oh my God, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. No. Everybody hates me. Everybody hates me. God hates me. God. Oh my God. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Larry also appeared to be cold, but he found a much quieter way of dealing with the discomfort. As the interrogation rooms were separated only by a thin wall, Larry was privy to all of Rita's theatrics.
No.
I don't believe so, Aquarius. I think they say that she's not on drugs or alcohol.
Why are you not open a window? Why are you not open a window? I understand you upset, but don't hang on the wall like that. My baby.
All this drama occurred before the police even tried to talk with Rita. She, however, had been pretty intent on trying to talk to them.
Hello? You know what it's going to be.
Hello.
I don't want to be alone. I want to hold my baby. I want to hold my baby. I know. We're going to sit down and talk about it in just a few minutes, okay? Somebody come talk to me. Somebody come talk to me. Please come talk to me. I want my baby girl. I want my baby girl.
Yet when Rita was wailing and waiting for the investigators to come talk to her, it became clear that she was aware of the police observing her.
No, Christina, no. No, baby.
Rita's obvious awareness of the camera raises the question of how authentic her distress was. Police likely hoped that understanding what had taken place earlier that afternoon could provide some insight. Just over 5 hours after she arrived at the police station, police came in to talk to Rita and made her aware of her Miranda rights. Once that was taken care of, the conversation about how Christina met such a horrific fate finally began.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol or narcotics today?
No.
No.
Are you being arrested?
I haven't said anything about you being arrested. Okay?
I'm sorry.
There's no secret as to why we're here.
I know, but
You understand why we're here.
yes, sir. Oh my God.
Why don't you explain to me the details leading up to why we're here today?
Rita didn't know it, but the police hadn't just been waiting out her emotional frenzy for the past 5 hours. They'd been talking to Larry and reviewing the security footage recorded at his house. This means they know Rita already lied just moments into the interview. Even faced with Rita's initial resistance, the interrogators couldn't have anticipated the heartbreaking revelations to come.
Larry put my daughter in the backseat of the car.
Well, back up. Back on up. Start from, you picked her up from the babysitters. When did you pick her up from babysitters?
Last night.
Okay.
Oh, no. The babysitter didn't have, the babysitter had her, what's today, Monday?
Today's Monday, yes.
No, I'm sorry, today's
Okay.
Monday. I had a babysitter spend the night at my house Saturday night. Saturday night. I got her Sunday. We went to Mary's last night, spent the night, packed us a little overnight bag and stuff like that. And we were coming home today. And I was going to, I cranked up the car. I cut on the air conditioner. I opened the back door. My parents put her in.
The surveillance footage starts at 10:59 a.m., so while there doesn't appear to be any possible way for Rita to start the car when they put Christina in, it's unknown if she started the car before that, and we may never be able to confirm this.
He closed the door.
Which side did you put her in?
Driver's side back.
Driver's side back. Okay. Did you buckle her in?
So she said she put her in and started the car. That's what really puzzles me is I would think that if you have your key in the ignition in most vehicles these days, that if you go to shut the door, it's not going to lock. Especially, I mean, all the other doors might lock, but the driver's side door is not going to lock. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that, or if you know different about this type of vehicle.
He did buckle her in.
This comment about the seatbelt is relevant because it could suggest whether Rita was indeed intending to leave Larry's house when Christina was put in the vehicle. Securing her with the seatbelt would have been a clear indication that Rita was departing imminently. However, this would come back to haunt Rita and Larry sooner rather than later.
What's her medical diagnosis?
She had developmental delays and epilepsy.
So when was her last seizure?
over 5 years ago. She has done so good. She has had a seizure over 5 years.
So she's got developmental delays and epilepsy. That's it?
That's all she's been diagnosed as. But when she lost oxygen to her brain before she was born, so her brain don't communicate well with her body.
Once again, Rita left something out, specifically Christina's cerebral palsy diagnosis. For now, police allow her to continue her version of the story.
Okay. So you packed everything up.
I mean, I plugged my cell phone up in the charger, you know, cranked up the car, put myself in the charger and everything. And had the back door open and closed the back door.
Okay.
Rita would later argue that this tidbit about her phone was proof that the car was running. She said it was dead that morning, but charged when she and Larry opened the car, proving that she had turned it on. This debate will be significant later.
I went in the house to get my cigarette pouch. And when I come out, all 4 doors locked. I was accidentally, I admit it's never happened before. 4 doors locked. Didn't think it was a big deal at first.
While a lot of what Rita said is true, it left out huge chunks of what was captured by the CCTV. Why she thought she could lie when all her actions were captured on camera is unclear.
Larry got little wedgie things and it blows air and he's trying to get it open. And it wouldn't open. I had spare set of keys in my house and the air conditioner was on. The air conditioner was on. I didn't think it was nothing.
Well, I mean, that makes kind of sense that if you figured that the car was on, the AC was on, that you'd have some time to open it up. But there has to be more to this. Otherwise, the tragedy wouldn't have happened, right?
And she was asleep. And Larry went to go get the keys and he brought her back. And when he went to unlock the door, Mom was dead.
Tearfully, Rita went on to explain that the key fob Larry retrieved from her house had a dead battery. By the time he got into the car with a manual key, it was far too late. However, this isn't the full story, and the truth of what really happened is far more shocking.
I would have busted that window out if I knew she was in her truck, and I don't know why. But I can do it on. And I picked her up. She had vomit. She had a seizure. And I found on her legs. Oh, God.
Police found more vomit in the back seat of the car, which is a sign of heat stroke. The condition of Christina's body also indicated she'd suffered from severe heat trauma. But if what Rita said was accurate, Christina's excruciating fate shouldn't have been possible. There was no way such a serious case of heat stroke could have occurred under the circumstances Rita laid out. Additionally, if Rita's theory about the seizure was true, police had to question why she told them that Christina hadn't had a seizure in 5 years.
Over here. Okay.
The front part of the car was cool, but the back part was.
The back part wasn't.
And she just looked like she was sleeping.
But Christina wasn't sleeping, and Rita's story just didn't add up.
So how would she be having burns on her legs? I could understand the vomiting, but burns on her legs? I don't get that. Maybe from the seatbelt and her struggling to get out?
Okay, so let's back it up. Back it up real quick. How'd you sleep last night?
Yeah,
How'd you sleep?
fine.
Did you sleep fine? You went to bed at 11. Did you go to sleep?
Yes, sir.
You did.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As is common in interrogations, this answer was already known. Nevertheless, the officer allowed Rita to continue to lay the groundwork for a fabricated story that would later be dismantled.
How about Larry?
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Yes, sir.
Okay. So you got up this morning. She was fine. Got her up.
Got her dressed.
What time were y'all?
Changed her diaper. Gave her a cup of Pediasure. Same one routine.
This line of questioning ties back to something Rita conveniently forgot to mention. Larry, however, had no such qualms.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs at this time?
Well, I used sometime yesterday. What was it? Meth.
Okay, do you feel like you're under the influence right at this moment?
It's wild. I'm tired. I've been out like 48 hours.
Before the interrogations began, both Larry and Rita consented to a blood test. The results would reveal exactly what was in their systems.
Okay, Rita, listen to me. If this conversation is going to go, then you're going to have to tell me the truth. I've already talked to Larry. I already know details. Listen to me. I already know details, and if you're going to start lying to me, this ain't going to work.
Please.
How long were you in that house?
10 minutes. I don't know, sir. I don't know. I poured some Kool-Aid, did some Kool-Aid.
Okay, stop.
I don't know.
Okay. When was the last time you used narcotics?
Narcotics.
Yes.
Note the rapid change in her speech, from hyperventilating and whispering to talking easily in an instant. This makes it clear that her hyperventilation is likely faked, or at the least exaggerated.
I took an Adderall yesterday.
No. When was the last time you used methamphetamine?
No, I don't use methamphetamine. I've never
Okay,
used
note that we just drew labs, and when those labs are tested, methamphetamine is going to come back in your system.
They shouldn't.
Well, I know it shouldn't.
As was becoming the norm, Larry said otherwise.
Did Rita use with you yesterday?
She does a little. She put a little bit in her drink.
She used today. It's going to come up in my blood work.
Yeah. We took blood work. I told him, no, I don't know. She didn't use today.
She used yesterday.
Yes, sir.
How much? About
Like a line or something.
a line.
Yeah.
Snorted, or she put
She put it in her drink.
Where was Christina when you guys were?
Okay, now the truth comes out. Hey, Debbie, thank you for being on panel. We'll discuss this here in a little bit.
Alrighty, hi.
She was in sleep on the couch.
When asked, Larry swore that Christina had never been exposed to the drug. Yet in an exclusive interview, Rita's daughter said that their mother was extremely anti-drug.
She hates drugs. I can't, stress enough how much she hates them. She actually, something that no one knows is she called DSS on me many years ago for smoking weed, just for smoking pot a long time ago. That's how much my mom hated drugs.
So you didn't use last night? That's what I thought. No answer is a yes answer. And you put it in your coffee last night.
I didn't know that's what it was. I wasn't sure what it was.
Don't yes me, I'm not in the mood.
I wasn't sure what it was.
You're not sure what it was. You have a master's degree. You're an intelligent person. You're more intelligent than you're playing right now.
That's right. Not only did Rita hold a master's degree, but she worked as a teacher in the Colleton County School District for 25 years. During that time, she was recognized as Teacher of the Year twice.
She worked her face off to provide for our family.
She still went above and beyond for all of us, all three of us. That's why I was so shocked, on the phone call that I got that day.
Ashley shared some of her fondest memories of Christina.
I remember we'd go to Shoney's on her birthday every year, and she'd be sung, they would sing to her, and she'd clap her hands and get the little fudge cakes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Christina. Happy birthday to you.
Christina's other sister, Elizabeth, also shared some of her memories.
One of my favorite videos is we went to a birthday party and there was a horse. And so she got to ride a horse for the first time. So I'm just holding her and she's just laughing the whole time. Her laugh was contagious.
Aw, good job. Christina. There you go. We do not want to try. No.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, we do. Bounce you around like a sack of taters. Here, look, we're riding a horse.
She was.
Sometimes covering these cases is hard on the heart. It is really hard on the heart, especially when you know the outcome is not going to be a good one. And it just is so pulling on the heartstrings. Wouldn't you agree, Debbie?
Sorry, I had myself muted.
You're
Oh
fine.
yeah, this one incensed me. Once I covered this while the trial was happening, and went over all the footage and everything, because I like to give the benefit of the doubt. But once I saw everything, I was like, let me at this woman. Let me at her. Let me at her. She's evil, in my opinion.
It's tragic. It's just tragic.
Very tragic. And
So
beautiful little
loved
girl.
by everyone.
Meanwhile, police finally managed to get some truth out of Rita.
I do know what it is, but I tried it. But I mean, it was much. So we could stay awake a while, because we don't never really get to see each other that much.
Well, I thought you went to sleep. You told me you went to sleep at 11 o'clock.
While this was shocking, it was only the first secret police would uncover.
Your daughter is so dependent on you.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure what was in this. I lying to you.
You're about to see the ugly side of me. Right at this point, just know this. I do not care what happens to you at this point. All I'm worried about is there's a dead 12-year-old child.
No.
What do you mean, no?
I know.
Now, I want listen to me. I want straight answers right now. Okay? I know. Tell me if I'm wrong. I know that you and Larry had a little disagreement over you having an affair. Correct?
Okay, yeah, we had an argument.
I heard that she was messing with my godmother, and I asked her, and she told me it's true. And I talked to her. I just y'all don't know, and I'll call you later.
This was yesterday or was it on
Today.
This morning? Today?
Yes.
Larry again had a different version of how the discussion about Rita's alleged cheating went.
What was the conversation in reference to your affair or your side piece, whatever?
It's not an affair. That never happened.
Well, I'm just telling you what you tell me, so that's what you're getting at.
Well, what was the question? I'm sorry. We were not, when we weren't even arguing, we were like, we're going to take a break. I'll call you later.
So were you guys going back and forth having this conversation, or was this like, he said something, you said something, and it was over?
Pretty much, yeah.
So there's no going back and forth?
No.
No crying, no forgive me, no take it back?
That was a little bit of crying, but it wasn't like a big, long, drawn-out thing.
And where was Christina when all this was happening?
In the car. Oh my God, in the car.
So I wasn't thinking about much, nothing else. Rita stayed in there crying and talking and crying and, begging. Not doing her wrong, just trying to make up or whatever.
Despite Rita's attempts to explain, it was evident that Larry remained indifferent. What began as a seemingly final exchange stretched into a heated debate, escalating along with the rising temperature on that horrific summer day.
And she just wouldn't.
So then she came back in the house. How many times did she come back in the house?
Man, I walked out like, okay.
But I'm just wish she would have.
Oh, man.
In conversation with Iwu, Rita touched on this subject.
What we were arguing about that day was me trying to convince him that I hadn't cheated on him. And that costed my daughter her life.
The CCTV would show exactly how many times Rita and Larry went in and out of the house, and the footage wouldn't make either of them look good. But the story still got worse.
How long were you in the house?
No more than 2 or 3 minutes. I don't know.
How long would you guys?
So this whole time, that poor little baby's in the car, cooking, so to speak. Not to sound very graphic or anything, but that's awful. And they're not thinking about the child; they're thinking about themselves.
To me, she was in that car.
I know at least for 2 hours or so, man.
According to the CCTV, both answers were wrong. Following their argument, Rita and Larry stepped inside and didn't emerge for 2 hours. By this time, Christina had already been inside the car for 2.5 hours. As the detective continues to backtrack how the events unfolded that morning, he asks more pressing questions.
I know he asked you to leave, correct? And he would call you later today.
Yeah, and I was leaving.
Let me finish. I know that he put her in the car. You turned the car on. I don't know whether you turned the air conditioner on, but you said you did. I'll give you that, cause
I did come to the air conditioner.
you saw her put the air conditioner on. You didn't. So you're assuming everything after you turned around to walk away. Or do you know for a fact that she did? Okay, well, I'm just saying, what I'm asking is, did you physically see her start the car and turn the air conditioner on?
I heard her start the car, put her down, fall back up on the porch, all that said. She said she started the car, put down, and I believe she did. She loves her daughter, man.
I'm not saying she don't.
Yeah.
However, Larry didn't know about a curious detail that his CCTV had caught. Rita had stepped out of the house and settled into the driver's seat of her car. She retrieved an item, likely the keys, from the porch, unlocked both the driver's side and Christina's side doors, glanced back at Christina, double-checked through the window, and then proceeded to walk off. Unsettlingly, it was at this precise moment that she inadvertently left the keys in the car. As awful as everything was so far, the police knew Rita and Larry were holding back parts of the story that proved just how heinous Christina's demise really was.
Is Christina verbal? She's not verbal.
How's she communicate?
Just like her with a cup.
Just with her cup? What do you mean?
She'll bring a cup to you for drinks. She gets around fast, like on her knees. She loves cartoons. She's real easy.
But is she doesn't talk to you, or she doesn't make noises?
She's good, yeah, she's good coherent. And she knows what's going on, but she can't talk.
So she's not capable of screaming for help.
No, ma'am.
Those who knew Christina said that she was adept at nonverbal communication. But if no one had been around to see those gestures, however, Christina would have been unable to advocate for herself. It's also important to note that Christina's disability didn't mean she didn't have sensation in her limbs. She likely would have been able to feel and understand exactly what was happening to her.
You know,
but was power.
The more I hear about this, the more agitated I'm getting over here. I don't know about y'all in the chat. I don't know about you, Debbie, but I mean, you've seen the outcome in the court. You've seen all that. I haven't seen any of this. So this is the first time I'm watching it. It's angering me. Angering me. You know,
when I saw you were on my YouTube main page and I saw, Christina's little face and I went, oh my God, I have to go in on this one because, I'm still angry at that mother over this. And I don't care if she wants to use excuses for the boyfriend. I don't care how much more honest he, came off during his interview. That's great and fine. He's still responsible too, in my opinion. He's the adults are responsible, period.
Right.
He let it happen. He should have checked on her too. Because he said he loved the kid as well. So he should have checked on her too. He knew they were both in the house using and doing other things, acting like man.
That's what I kind of figured for those 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Here
neither one of them cared.
Here we go.
Powerless to stop it.
Did it occur to you at any time to pick up a rock and break the window?
Oh, I thought.
Seriously. I mean, seriously, think about it.
I had. She was asleep. Rita said she was asleep. I had.
Still, I mean, you got a child locked in a car, especially a child like that who cannot fend for herself. She couldn't open that car door. She tried.
Right.
It's right now. It's pretty serious. It's about as serious as it gets. All I'm trying to do is I'm trying to let you know.
It's about to get worse.
The autopsy is going to tell a lot. Okay, it's going to tell me a lot of things.
Yes, sir.
So you saying that you asked Rita to break the window?
I asked. I said, "Baby, you want me to bust out some of you can see where I put my hand up there, whatever, in the footage." And I tried, but she said no. She said no. It'd be cheaper just to go, but me. Not
some common sense, man.
Yeah.
Larry might have been able to laugh now, but any lightheartedness would soon become impossible when confronted with the gravity of his choices.
You get the car open, and what you find is a 12-year-old that's deceased. At that time, Rita takes her out of the car, lays her on the ground where she was. You called 911, and from there, Everybody's coming. I'm sure it seemed like an eternity.
This still is just starting to. I've been up there and out of it and all.
Making the decision not to break the window even more confusing was the fact that although money was tight for the single mother of a disabled child, according to Ashley, Rita had never shied away from providing for Christina.
Mom accommodated her in so many ways growing up. She worked 3 jobs as a tutor, and she cleaned houses, and she was a teacher just to help pay off a handicapped bathroom that she had got for Christina, because Mom she wanted to make sure that we had the best.
At the police station, the investigator speaking with Larry stepped out and went to talk to Rita.
Give me a minute, okay? We gotta go talk to her.
However, they were called away to review some evidence in the midst of their conversation with her. Temporarily left to her own devices again, Rita resumed talking to herself.
She don't prison, Larry. I love that little girl. So I take care of her. You can tell me I couldn't pick her up no more. I couldn't pick her up no more.
It also became obvious that Rita didn't have a lot of confidence in what Larry was telling the police.
You threw me under the bus, Larry. You threw me under the bus. You threw me under the bus. Oh my God, you threw me under the bus.
Ah! God, this woman.
I can't believe you let me take the fall with this all by myself.
Rita was wrong about that, however. If she was going to take the fall, it wouldn't be alone. After an hour and a half, a different investigator sat down with Larry. It was finally time to confront him with the real version of events, provided by the security camera. What it showed was outrageous.
Okay, we've just sat and watched the DVR. So having said that, anything that you have previously told Detective Marcarella and the SLED agent, do you want to change any of that? You don't want to change anything?
The police weren't convinced, though.
You was pretty pissed this morning.
Yeah, hurt me, man.
You know why I know you was pretty pissed this morning? Because your camera just told me that. You know what I saw on that camera this morning?
What?
Who put the baby in the car?
Me.
How'd you put her in the car?
I don't know. I held her like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You held her like that. Can you account for your actions?
Yes, ma'am, I have to.
You have to, that's right. Yes, you do. I want you to think for a minute how you put that baby in that car. I want you to think about that for a minute. When y'all were arguing and fighting, she been running around on you, she been shacking up with somebody else, you're pissed. Tell me how you put that baby in that car.
I mean, I swear to God, I don't remember everything, but I was aggravated.
Yes, you were, and it shows.
What did I do?
You threw her in that car, basically upside down. And it looks like she probably didn't go in all the way, because both of you have to bend back over, like you got to grab her to get her in the car the rest of the way, and then you close the door.
Because I would never hurt, especially in the situation.
You threw her in the car upside down.
I didn't mean to.
But you did.
Without.
You threw her in that car upside down because you were angry at Rita.
I hate that. Lord, I swear to God, I can't believe it.
Was Christina in the way?
Christina in the way, what you mean?
Of your relationship?
No, she was simple. I mean, easy to take care of you. She free to put cartoons on for her, and there you were, a cup, and shut her door, and she was fine. She was fine.
So she didn't limit Rita from doing stuff with you?
No, hell no.
If she needed to run to the store and pick something up, how often would that happen that she would just leave her at the house?
Mm-hmm. I've never known her to do that.
How often do you leave her home alone?
Never. She always has a sitter. Always.
Let me finish my question. How about that?
Okay.
How often do you leave her at home in her room alone?
In her room?
Yeah.
She's in her room, but the door stays open, but I'm always there.
This was a point of contention with Rita's former roommate, Brittany Honeycutt. As soon as she heard what had happened to Christina, she rushed to the police station to give a statement about some concerning behavior she'd witnessed while living in Rita's house. She also spoke with Iwu in an exclusive interview.
Towards the end, she literally left Christina in the room, and I had no idea Christina was even in bed. And I woke up the next morning to Christina trying to get out of her room, and she couldn't.
It got worse than that, though.
And Christina had a fall, and she had a bloody nose. And I called Rita, and I was like, hey, you have to come get her because she's bleeding and she's freaking out. And Rita was like, oh, she'll be fine. Just clean her up. And she refused to come. It took us an hour for her to eat.
I don't get why parents who don't want children at this point, or whether they're fed up with the years of taking care of them or whatever, there's no excuse. Why they don't try to find somebody else who cares and loves for children to take over, you know? Why get in a relationship like this where you're causing so much friction, you're using drugs, and a child is the last thing on your mind for either one of you? He placed her in the back seat upside down. So basically, she asphyxiated. She was on her stomach. So how could she sit up? She couldn't. She couldn't. Go ahead.
Look at the back chat. I put a link in there if you want.
Okay.
I know the redacted one that they put in here. You can't really see how he manhandled that child very aggressively, and I was crying. I was literally crying watching that video.
Okay,
you can see. And what also, I don't know if this documentary is going to show the fact that even after they discovered that she was locked in the back seat like that, finally figured it out that she was there, and they decided together not to even break a window. Instead, they drove and they were gone for half an hour to go get a spare key to save her window over her child. There was nothing
so
else that
she left with him. I was unaware of that.
Yes. Yeah, it's in this
Because
video.
it made it sound like, I don't know, she made it sound like she stayed there with her daughter and he went and got the key. Okay,
Yeah, no, the other
watch.
security camera is in this too. You can skip around. You can mute me if you want, whatever you want to do.
Well, let me play this right quick.
She was not already gone. I thought Root Trackers was asking like if she's alive, like now, if she made it. No, she was still alive. Yeah, it's awful. I don't know what that is. I mean, I really thought that this thing up here was because we've got one in the bedroom window. It's like a little antenna that picks up local stations from really far away. They're really cool. But there's also, you'll see later, there's
Try
also
skipping
a
ahead
square
just a
like
titch,
this.
just a titch. There we go. I think that's about it. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
So these guys come up here.
Is it before they start arguing?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's right. It's right in there. Hang on, I'll get the. It's like a little antenna that picks
I
up.
just maybe it was before
local
that then.
Stations from. I'm back at 20. Yeah, right there at the end, they stopped it. But you could see people's faces in the courtroom as they were playing the very last part. And like they didn't show these idiots pulling her out of the back of the car right. Yeah, it was like right there. Yeah. Yes.
It does play. I go back and play it again a couple of times too, so you'll catch it.
Okay.
There they are right there.
And it's like a little antenna. Give it too much thought. Yeah, this black thing right here, right?
If you use your right, your up and down, left and right arrows.
Yeah.
That'll let you skip forward and backward 5 seconds at a time. That's what I use. I just learned that recently and I love it.
I had to mute you on the video.
Oh yeah. I don't mind.
Because I was getting confused which one was talking to me.
I know, right?
I was like, is that current or is that past? So is she already in the car right now, right?
Dude, I don't know.
I think she is. Let's see.
Yeah, I think she's already in the car at this point. Hold on, I'm gonna leave me muted there. I'm gonna go through this video real quick. So I'm gonna find you the exact spot where you can. Oh, there we go.
Because right there, he has her in his arms, I think.
Yeah, I had it paused and I talked to. There it is. Let's see. It's at. Okay, it's at 21. Is it 2152? Hold on.
I'll just let it play right here.
It's
Trigger warning.
2150. Yeah, 2152 was the exact spot.
Here it is, guys. Trigger warning.
He just he chunked her in there feet first. Awful. So the way they described it in court when this was being live streamed was she was up on the seat and her head was by the door. So she couldn't do anything. She couldn't sit up. She couldn't reach the door handle. She couldn't do anything.
Right.
She was just trapped. And they just shoved her in there and shut the door.
And then commenced arguing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is terrible.
And then I'll show you let me see if I can find it real quick. The other camera that shows them both leaving.
Okay. That is just, that's terrible. Golly.
Okay, so it's at 20. I'm sorry.
Same video?
Yeah, 4302.
Okay. Hold on a second.
And they were gone for half an hour while she was still in the back seat of that car. Rather than just go break the window.
I didn't realize that the mom went with the boyfriend. I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's at what? 4103?
4302. Uh, 4302.
Okay. Okay, so that's them coming back, right?
This is them leaving, and then it's going to show them leaving here, and then it's going to show them coming back too. Or is that them coming back? Yeah, no, that's them leaving. When they come back, they stop at where they just were. They'll stop in that same general area when they come back.
Right.
There it is. They left at 3:52 and came back at what time did that say? It was about half an hour.
Yeah, it was too fast to see.
Yeah.
I'm distracted by all the stuff on the screen. I'm trying.
Yeah, here's when they came back.
And
what's funny is there was no urgency. There was no sense of urgency when they got out of the car.
Right.
And even after they discovered that she was in the car, they still sat on the porch and looked at cell phone. They were seen laughing and hugging and kissing while this
like
child
right
was
there, they're not jumping out of the truck or nothing. They're just listening to music and just kind of not doing anything.
Infuriating. I mean, I'd be in the road, stopping vehicles, help, help, help. I mean, I could have already gotten into that car. But
of course.
Or how about not leave them in there in the first place?
I don't know.
I got yelled at just the other day. I was at the store. Dollar Tree is my favorite place to go. And I pull up there, and I send my teenager in there, and she came back out, and she was like, "Mom, look at this car." And I look over next to me. I hadn't even noticed. And there was a 4-year-old just sitting in the front seat by themselves. And I get out of my car and I walk around because I'm like, maybe there's an adult in the back because it was tinted. Nobody in that car. So I just sat my butt on the hood of the car and waited for the mom to come out and shoot her out. And she was yelling at me, "Mind your own business." I'm like, people steal your car. They think they're going to steal your car, but you're putting your kid in harm's way too.
See the
Why do
boyfriend.
people do that?
The boyfriend was in no hurry.
None at all.
Oh, I was wondering what that was that keeps being seen in the. That's a dog, just coming to the window right there on the lower corner. That little
Oh, is
brown.
it?
I think so.
Okay.
Or a cat. One. Still, no. God, there would have been so many rocks or whatever.
Yeah, don't scratch my car. Don't break my window. Is what
Right.
she's saying.
Oh my God. And how come this didn't get more attention? You know what I mean? Where
I
did this happen?
know.
Kentucky?
Oh my.
Tennessee or something?
Let's see if my description had anything about it. I don't remember the exact location now.
I think it was Kentucky or Tennessee, one of those states. See, they're just walking around. I mean, after being gone all that time, he's messing around on his cell phone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one thing was cool about this case. So I'll just read a short part of my description. It says, "This is a case of Christina, a beautiful disabled girl who died in a hot car on a very, very hot day, carried there by her own mother and her mother's boyfriend, and all of it was caught on camera." And then I said, "Remember Judge Newman, who presided over the Alex Murdaugh case? He's presiding over this one." So he was the judge in this case, and he was so good.
They still haven't. I mean, they're not acting
They
like
supposedly
with
went and got
any.
her spare key, and they still haven't gotten into the car. They
But
didn't care.
if they're high right now, then everything they're doing is accelerated in their mind times 1,000. That's no excuse. I'm just saying, if they're high, that's why they're moving so slow. I mean, because they think they're moving fast, but they're really not.
Yes, like Heather
Getting,
just said, if you
yeah,
were
they're
to
getting.
go back a little bit, you'll see that the lights did flash on the front of the car. So yeah. Yes,
And now
they're
they're hugging. Now
flying
they're
higher than
hugging.
nuts. Yeah, the car's unlocked and they're hugging, and she still hasn't gone and opened the car.
And like they're getting stuck in the process. Like when you're going so fast, well, I don't know if you've ever been high, but when you're high like that, you get stuck in the moment, like you lose time. You think you're actually, time is going really, really fast in your brain, so you're losing time. They're actually thinking they're moving fast, but they're really just getting stuck.
Well, they were on I don't know anything about I've never ever even tried pot in my life. It's crazy, I know. I was offered a whole
I
bunch
have
when
a
a
little
teenager,
bit of
never did it.
experience. I have a
And
little bit
that's
of experience on these
yeah,
things.
I just never did. I never did.
Yeah,
But I believe that they were on I believe it was meth. What does
yeah,
that do to your
like
time and all that?
like what I'm saying,
Oh, is that okay?
their brain is going so fast. They think they're moving faster than they are, and they get distracted. You get
No.
distracted easily, so you forget what the hell you were gonna do. Like, oh, we're supposed to be
Mm.
getting the daughter out. And look, they're fiddling with something in the truck now. They're just like bouncing back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not funny, but that's exactly what's going on. It's like, let me take my radio apart while I'm over here. Oh, now I remembered what we were doing. Let's go check on your daughter. All right, let's
Right.
get back. That's some awesome footage right there. Let's get back to the other one and see
Yeah, this is
exactly.
a good documentary. Very good. Yeah, I just wanted to show you the unredacted so you could see how awful he actually was to that little girl. He
Yeah.
he was mad at the mom and he took it out on that child. That's just
She was cheating on him. That God, with the dope dealer, probably.
Even get to the house.
Meanwhile, the police pushed Larry harder.
She knows that the baby's in the car.
I forgot all about it. I mean, I was honest to God.
You forgot about her, but she knew that she was in there. She told us that.
Mila, 2 days, Mila said, I'm hurt. So then you go back into the house and you and him sit in there for 2 hours.
Oh, no, it was not 2 hours. No, sir. No, sir.
Despite Rita's attempts to deny it, the reality persisted. They'd been indoors for 2 hours, leaving Christina on her own.
Why didn't she ever feed her? That child can eat. You just got to put a little effort into it. Would you be surprised or shocked if I told you there wasn't any food in that house? None? Besides Kool-Aid and Ensure?
Yeah, she don't cook. She usually buys out every night, every day.
But food for her, not for Christina. She just gives her a sippy cup to suck on.
Right, and that's gonna help everybody with the Ensure. I've asked Rita why she don't feed her. He said that she would get too heavy for her, whatever.
She's out of her hair now. She don't have to worry about her anymore.
Police may have gotten this idea when some of Rita's previous mutterings took a disturbing turn.
She was getting too big anyway.
Police had to wonder if this could be a motive. If Christina had grown to such a point that it was difficult for Rita to manage her, they had to consider the possibility that she'd chosen to solve the problem in the most detestable way possible. Elizabeth strongly disagreed with the theory that Christina's death could have been malicious.
The actions ended in a very awful, tragic situation in my life. I will not defend those actions. I grieve the actions. I wish they were different. I wish they would have done a better job digging into the reasoning and what happened, because my mom had no intent to harm Christina. She loved her so much.
There was a lot more work to be done
Can
before
I comment on that?
we were sure what Rita's motivation was. According to Brittany, this was...
Do what?
Can I comment real quick on what her sister said, Christina's sister? I have no doubt that Rita loved her daughter. I don't think anybody could even question that. Addicts still love their children very, very much. They just can't take care of them. They can't put their child ahead of their own need, their own desires, their addiction. They only care about getting their next fix and their own problems. Their child is on the list, right? But it's late. Their own needs are way up here, and their child's maybe number 10, 15 on that list.
Well, at that point, what you're talking about, it's not about the child anymore. It's about the drug. It's like
exactly
the drug and the behaviors towards getting the drug, using the drug, the side of it's whatever you use the drug for, whether it's excitement, whether it's sexual pleasure, whatever it might be. You're doing everything in a pattern of use, and everything that really matters to you, kind of like you're saying, just you forget about it, or you act like it's not important to you anymore.
Right. Yep. And it's not that they don't love them. I know, because I do have an adult addict son who has my 3 grandchildren who I have, and I know he loves them very much. Now he's recovered now for 3 years. He's doing good. But they're still my babies now forever.
Right.
He lost that a long time ago and he knows it. But you know,
No,
I knew
this is-
even when he was in the thick of addiction, I knew he still loved his children, but I knew he could no longer take care of them. Period.
The mom is the lady that's dressed in pink. This is one of her daughters just talking.
Yeah, they were very sweet. I feel so bad for them. You know, I'm not judging them in any way because they just, you know, they testified to their own perspective on it. And like I said, I mean, by all accounts, she used to be a really doting mama. But once you get too far and down that, you know, what do they call that? Not rabbit hole, but dark hole of addiction. It
Or when
sucks
you
you
hit
in.
your bottom, yeah, when you bottom out. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Let's keep going.
awful.
Was not the only time Christina had been left while Rita busied herself elsewhere.
When she started yelling at Christina and saying she needed a break, and she would go lock herself in the bedroom, and Christina would be banging on her door, trying to get her attention, you know, and Christina was crying. It wasn't just she was making noises. There were tears coming out of her eyes. I would walk out and she's in literal tears banging on the door for her mom. And her mom was too busy doing whatever she wanted to do, locked up in her bedroom.
A bit of research provided investigators with another unwelcome surprise. Before Christina died, the Department of Social Services, or DSS, had received 5 complaints against Rita. The last complaint was lodged by Christina's school only 5 months before her death. She'd been dropped off at school with untreated burns on her face, neck, and chest. The school asked Rita to have the burns treated, but when no action was apparent, the school once again contacted DSS. This story didn't seem to surprise Brittany.
And she said, do not answer the door if anybody knocks on the door, rings the doorbell. She's like, do not answer the door for anybody. So when she said that, we were like, what? She goes, yeah, somebody called DSS on me, and I think that they're going to come and talk to me. And she goes, you're not allowed to talk to them.
As police knew, things only got worse for Christina after that.
At some point in the video, it seems like y'all sort of calm down and relax. Okay, y'all start hugging each other. Y'all are standing close to each other. Seems like you've relaxed a little bit. So the things calm down a little bit. Y'all went inside and had. How long did y'all have?
I wish I'd have. Maybe I don't know.
While Rita and Larry may claim not to know how much time had passed, the CCTV was counting every minute. They were gone this time for a little under an hour, and Christina had been suffering inside the heated car for over 3 hours.
Then you come outside, and listen to me, then you come outside and you find out your car is locked and you can't get in. Now, at this time, your daughter is laying in there, totally dependent on you. She can't open a car door like a normal 12-year-old or 13-year-old, okay? She relies on mom.
Do you remember touching the hood of the car to feel how hot it was?
I don't.
You did. When y'all looked in the car, before you ever left to come to town to get the key, when y'all looked in the car, what did you see?
I couldn't even see the child in there. The windows is dark, plus me, you know, up out of it, whatever. Did I look in there?
Y'all looked in there.
I remember looking to see in the front windshield it locked.
While Larry may not have been able to see Christina, Rita had been caught by CCTV suspiciously looking into the car's window several times. One wonders what she saw and how she can now claim that she forgot Christina was in there. After a few minutes, Rita and Larry brought some tools to the porch. While Larry leisurely prepared to break into the car, Rita established that the doors had not unlocked by themselves. Larry tried to pry several windows open, but with no results. This didn't appear to worry the couple. What they decided to do next was even less productive.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Y'all realize she's in the car. You mess around with the car for a few minutes to try and get in there. You can't get in there. Y'all come back up on the porch. At that point, y'all go over and y'all sit on the swing.
Look at this
and y'all
crap.
sit there and swing for like 30 minutes.
Says she had her in the air conditioner.
Playing on their phone.
Do you remember
Well, how could you not hear if the car was on? The motor kicks on and off. When the AC get to the point where it cools it off enough, it kind of idled down, and then it kicks back in whenever it kicks on again. How could he not known that? How could he not heard that?
When they pulled the car out later as evidence, there was not a which, you know, if you sit there, you leave your car running with the AC on, it's going to be running that condenser all the time, and water would be pooling underneath that car. There was no water underneath the car. That's why I personally think it was never even on.
Yeah, I don't believe it was on either. She probably imagined that in her head.
Yeah.
Car running at that point?
I think I remember it running. Yeah, I know it was running. It was running.
While the officer said Rita and Larry relaxed on the porch swing for 30 minutes, it was closer to 15. Not that that was any better, because by that point, Christina was trapped in the car for over 4 hours. She'd likely already succumbed to the extreme heat and her mother's negligence by now. When Iwu asked Rita about the events of that dreadful afternoon, she had this to say.
Something was wrong with the car. Something malfunctioned in that car. Because not only did the air conditioning stop running, but it locked with the key fob inside of there, something that's not supposed to do. And whenever I opened that car door, when we finally opened it, the car was so hot. The car was still running, but it was blowing hot air, like the heater was on. It felt like it was 1,000 degrees.
The officer interrogating Rita clearly had some strong feelings about the situation, malfunction or not.
Regardless of the air conditioner, what happened if the car caught fire? She could not defend herself.
I told you to sleep.
What would have happened if she had a seizure? Oh,
I know. I believe me. I don't even.
Okay.
I don't.
So then, both of you, two supposedly responsible adults, climbing your butts up in the truck and leave. And where was the little 13-year-old daughter? In the back of a locked car.
Larry and Rita hadn't rushed to the other car to rescue Christina. They rather chose to linger in Larry's outhouse, engrossed in conversation. Despite the urgency of Christina's situation, the couple appeared almost indifferent to the child's plight on that sweltering afternoon. Moreover, they didn't rush into Larry's car right away either. Larry stumbled upon a problem with his vehicle that he deemed more pressing than rescuing a child. While Rita remained seated, engaging in conversation with Larry as he repaired the car's seat, they squandered an additional 20 minutes before finally pulling out of the backyard.
It's still an hour and a half before y'all even leave to go and get the key. Why would she just not bust the window? Why would she at that point, not you, her, somebody?
You know what, Angie, was sad, honest to God. At that point, I was just, God forgive me.
So that footage that they just showed where they went into that little shed and he stopped to work on the truck, that was at his house?
Yeah, they walked around the back of the same house. Yeah.
It was at okay. And of course, he stopped to work on something that was more pressing than getting back to the little girl. I tell you, you get stuck. You get stuck, and you're moving so fast in your head, you're like, well, just take a couple seconds. Well, a couple seconds can turn into hours. And hours, you've lost your whole focus, and you're like, oh my God, I should have been over here doing this. But in your mind, you're doing everything so fast. You're being productive, you're doing the best, but you're missing small details because you're missing out on time. Meth is a terrible drug.
Being screwed up. I done forgot about the little girl, boy, and I was just thinking we trying to get in the car. I swear, oh my God.
Yeah, see what he said right there?
I hate to say it, but that is pretty tough.
I mean, I was up. I mean, I didn't even realize.
He was so messed up, he forgot about the child. He was just more focused on getting into the car.
Oh my God.
What?
I would never, man. I'm a good person. I'm a good person. And my God knows it.
On this matter, Rita and Larry finally agreed.
He loved her. That is one of the reasons why I stayed with him as long as I did.
So let me explain this to you, okay? So you guys drive all the way to your house on Academy, then turn around and come all the way back. Now, how many hours has passed? If you were in the house for 2 hours, or you were in that house, I'm telling you what he's telling me, okay? At least 2 hours. How long does that trip take?
I don't know, 30 minutes. I should have gone to the window. I knew that. I know.
No. What did you tell me? It's cheaper for you to go get your key.
Because I thought the air conditioner was on. I thought she was.
I don't care if it was blowing Arctic air.
You're right. I know.
You left a helpless child.
I know.
By herself.
I know.
And you know, guys, I used to work with people just like this lady. Like I've told y'all many times before, it's not until after the fact that they're seeing the wrong thing that they've done. It's almost like if I give you tears, if I give you excuses, if I give you all this, then it's going to make the situation go away. It's going to make it better. You're not going to look at me in a negative light. Does that make sense? Because that's what she's doing. The other guy is not, but she's doing that. She's doing that. So I worked with people like that. If I give you tears, then you're not going to revoke me. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. If I make you promises, you're not going to be as hard on me because, you know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, at that point, you're not in your emotions. You're doing your job to hold accountability. They're so used to manipulating people in their lives and lying to people and trying to get their way out of all situations that the only thing that they're loyal to is the drug and the lifestyle. And that's sad when you're an active addict.
It is tragic. It is tragic. You know, I feel bad for all addicts, no matter what happens. You know, whatever horrible things happen because of it. But my goodness, get help if you have a problem. Just get help.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly.
And I
it's
know of some excellent free resources. If anybody needs help or knows somebody who needs help, they don't have insurance, blah blah blah. I have some excellent resources that my family used to help my son get clean and sober. It didn't cost anybody a penny, so you don't have to go to one of these really bad places too. There are places that have scholarships and will let the people go in there and work off what they owe. There's some really good places. So I know of 2 or 3 that they'll even pay you they'll pay your way there. They care about people. So yeah, I mean, I just want to throw that out there because people should get help.
Thank you for saying that because sometimes I forget to say all that stuff. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, there are places that will help you with your journey if you're really ready to change. But sometimes, like these 2 people right here, I believe that they probably work hard. They probably, this lady took care of her daughter. They just got so deep in that addiction that it cost them the responsibility that they probably did have when they were sober. And I'm not making excuses for her or him. It's just common fact, because she had taken care of her daughter without any incident all those other years. Let me share a story right quick, okay? I was spun one time, and when you're driving, that's the worst time to be trying to focus. You think you're focusing, you think everything, but you're always messing with the radio, doing all this. And before I knew it, I had kind of drifted off into the other lane, and there was like a triangle median. And I thought that was my turn in my head. I thought, oh, there's my turn right there. But it wasn't. My turn was like, I don't know, probably 500 feet ahead. Well, I hit the median, popped both of my tires out of my car, came back into reality, and then kind of scooted up, where the turn was. And I had busted rims and everything else just because I was going so fast in my head, I could not focus. Could not focus on what I needed to do. And still, while you're trying to talk to people, you get stuck in the moment. Like you'll be talking, and then all of a sudden you'll just,
Yeah.
and then you got to come back to, and then you're like, blah, 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 blah. It's terrible. It's terrible, guys.
Somebody in chat asked how old this case is. She passed away in August of 2019, and the trial was about 1 year ago.
Oh, wow. Wow. Let's get back to it.
I know. Oh my God. I know.
Don't touch me. Do not put your hands on me.
Sorry.
You left a helpless child by herself in an automobile that was running. That supposedly the air conditioner was on. We haven't figured that part out yet. And then you drove all the way in here. Takes about 40.
I know.
Takes about 45 minutes. So that's 45 minutes one way. That's an hour and a half, two ways. So now we're up to about 3.5, 4 hours.
And from there to my house, about 20 minutes.
So whatever.
It took them exactly 48 minutes and 15 seconds to make that round trip. Chillingly, Rita's former roommate Brittany said that this wasn't the first time Rita's thoughts about leaving Christina in cars had caused concern.
She told me that I could take Christina with me to work and leave her in my car while it was parked in the parking lot of my job with the windows down. And she said Christina would be fine as long as she had her cup. And when she said that to me, I said, what the f is wrong with you? Because how dare you tell me that? And then you proceed to tell me you've done it a couple of times. Unfortunately, a week later, literally 7 days later, when I found out how she passed, it was like she really would do that. That's when everything just like, whoa, like, holy crap.
Rita insisted that she'd never asked Brittany to watch Christina, much less encouraged her to leave her in the car. However, her other statements seemed to be at odds with what she told police.
I mean, I've left her in the car before, but not for that amount of time. 2 or 3 minutes. Yes, I've left her in the car.
Just open every door.
If you opened that door, you saw what I had to see.
I know. Oh my God, I know, sir. I know. I can't believe it. I can't believe it happened.
You know something? You're doing an awful lot of whining, and I ain't seen a tear once.
I'm crying.
You can't even conjure up a tear.
The officer's suspicion likely arises from Rita's inconsistent distress levels. For
He wasn't
example,
playing.
her apparent ability to switch her hyperventilation on and off seems to indicate that it's fake, as true hyperventilating doesn't work that way.
I have been crying. Sir, you just don't know. My baby, I'm about to die over her.
I'll tell you something right now.
I'll
tell you something right now. I stood out there for all this time I've been out there. And I stood out there and I watched absolute total strangers cry over that child more than I've seen you.
No, sir. No, sir. She was my heart and soul, and I was a good mother to her. I was a real good mother.
A good mother? Listen to me.
I know.
Listen, a good mother, woman, does not use illegal narcotics while she's in the care of a child who is completely dependent on you. Correct? A good mother does not put her child in the car and leave her in the car for the period that child was in the car. One, why did you even put her in the car if you were going to go back? Why didn't you pick her up and bring her back into the house?
The final amount of time Christina was left in the car, which police would soon reveal to Rita and Larry, was absolutely appalling. A look at Rita's Facebook page unearthed this post, which reads, "One thing about me is when I don't care anymore, you're going to feel it." Could this have been exactly what happened to Christina? Police brought up this sinister question with Larry.
A lot of people love a lot of people, but sometimes when they get to that point, they need that break and they're going to do what they need to do. She's as smart as she is and loves her child. Why would she not do what's right for that child? She has a master's degree. She's smart enough to figure that out.
Yeah, Rita's smart.
Like smart enough to get in a car that's locked?
I couldn't get in it. God, keep me with that. She's manipulative. I know y'all seen that.
So was this her way out today? Let's put the blame on everybody else. She's done got caught with another man. She's trying to make up with you. She doesn't need to be bothered with Christina at the moment. So here's the perfect opportunity to get rid of her, put the blame on somebody else, and now she's free reign.
I swear to God, I don't want to think that she would, and I pray to God that she would.
And now you likely to get locked up. She ain't got a youngin' to worry about anymore. And she's free to do whatever she wants to do.
What am I going to get locked up for?
I said you could.
Oh. Man,
How does that play out for you?
I'm not good at all. But I just wanted her to, even when before she come back, I wanted her to leave. And she kept my tearing my up and didn't give me a choice. I got all the police. I had to let her come back, y'all. But she was going to my house now.
So you were scared of her?
What? I ain't trying to make Rita feel it, but that's crazy.
While police might have initially found Larry's claim hard to believe,
Like,
Brittany
what?
added some context to issues he may have been referencing.
She would always talk about these missions. And later on, I found out these missions were ways for her to sabotage Larry King's property.
Posts from Rita's Facebook mention these so-called missions, including this post reading, "One mission at a time, doesn't everyone love surprises?" She tagged Larry in another post that said, "Stop being the bigger person, slash their tires." Continuing with the timeline of events, the security footage showed that it took Rita and Larry almost an hour to return with a second set of keys.
Wow.
But that didn't mean it was time to try to rescue Christina yet, because shockingly, the couple sat in the truck for another 5 minutes. A new problem arose. Larry previously said the battery on the second fob turned out to be dead. They still couldn't get into the car. When their first efforts didn't pay off, the pair decided to get creative. As you can probably guess, shaking the car had no effect whatsoever.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Now, you get back, you have to play with the lock to get it open, right? Okay, so you play with the lock, get it open.
And she was gone.
Yeah,
Did you
she
see
was
the lights
gone.
flash just then?
I know. That's my baby.
Were you going to say something? Am I hearing things?
No, it was me. I'm sorry. I was just saying I saw the lights flash twice, just like Heather was saying in chat. They flashed before this even happened. I think the thing was unlocked and they didn't even realize it
That
for
could have
several more
very
minutes.
Yeah,
you
that could
know?
have very well.
'Cause
been-
they were flying higher than kites at this point,
Yeah.
and they had no concept of reality. Honestly,
Exactly.
horrible.
I was our sole caregiver for 13 years.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Yep, you sure did.
Rita and Larry eventually got the car open using a manual key, which was hidden in the side of the key fob for emergencies just like this. Tragically, the key discovery came far too late. As Rita dragged Christina's body from the car, Larry placed his call to 911.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
How long has it been since you got her out of the vehicle?
Probably 10 minutes. As soon as I got her out, man, I called you 10 minutes. No, man. Since the time I got, I called you immediately, man.
Okay. And you have her right there with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you think she's passed away?
Sir,
You think she passed away?
I know she is, man. I got at the car. She's God. But we had AC going, Bo. We had AC going. We talked for a little bit. Then we got in the car. She was in the floorboard, man. Whew. This is crazy. Oh, my God.
Oh, I messed up. I know.
You messed up and your child paid for it. That poor little girl.
I know. I mean, I don't even care what happens to me. I deserve whatever.
I'm glad you said that.
When y'all didn't get the door open, where was Christina? How was she positioned?
Went back, Rita started freaking out, and I went and looked at the door. I think she was maybe face down.
Was she in the seat? Was she in the floorboard? Was she partially in the seat, partially in the floorboard?
I know she was in the floorboard, I'm pretty sure.
There was no way Christina could have ended up on the floor of the car if she'd been buckled in like Rita claimed.
I was holding her. I was on her. I was screaming, and they were calling 911. And I laid her down, but opened every door, and
When you opened that door, you saw what I had to see.
I know, oh my God, I know, sir, I know. I can't believe it happened.
In our interview, Rita stated,
If I didn't want to take care of her, I could have sent her away. I would have never hurt her, and especially in such an inhumane way. If it was intentional, don't you think we would have unhooked the cameras? I'm smart enough that if I was going to plan something like that, I sure wouldn't have let it be videotaped.
the camera caught even more of the tragedy. Just minutes after discovering Christina deceased, Rita and Larry decided the most prudent thing to do was leave her body on the front lawn while they went back inside the house.
Do you realize that the dog goes over there and spends more time with that baby than her own mama does? More than you do?
I couldn't stand it.
And on the 911 call, when you're calling 911, you're telling them that that's your daughter, and the dog went over there, spent more time with that child laying on the ground dead?
I couldn't handle it. It freaked me out.
Yeah. She sat in that car and cried.
So you left her in the car by herself, then you left her on the ground by herself.
I was scared, man. I couldn't.
At that point, it's too late to be scared.
I mean, when Rita opened that door, that's when I realized, and she hollering, I said, oh, I swear to God, it is. And
What was the conversation before 911 was called once it was realized that she was dead? Were we trying to come up with a story? Were we trying to come up with
at first, we didn't really realize, but when I seen her, just the way she was sitting, I told you that she's going, and Rita lost it. She's going. No, ma'am, I'm honest, and I know come up with no story, because I would never hurt, especially in this child.
Rita's reaction to the discovery of her daughter's body was quite the opposite of how she reacted in the interrogation room. Soon after pulling a lifeless Christina from the car, Rita was seen picking up a cigarette from her car and leaving her child's lifeless body unattended as she ran after Larry, desperate for a comforting hug. In what looked like a blame game, Rita and Larry engage in another heated argument. Their frustration is palpable as Larry reels off information from the 911 call, while Rita paces around with a cigarette.
That was an accident. It was a horrible accident.
You know something, it has become miraculously aware to me in my 32 years in public safety that children get hurt or killed due to adult negligence. This isn't an accident. This is an act of stupidity.
Amen.
Did you not hear crying? Did you not hear hollering? The sunroof was cracked.
I just wish to God it was changed now.
Well, unfortunately, Larry, we can't.
I'll be in charge.
I don't know yet. I mean, we've got a 12-year.
You notice how much more lucid she sounded in that audio interview? She didn't sound as distraught, you know, like with the hyperventilating and everything. She said, I'm not dumb. I'd turn the cameras off if I was going to, you know, do something to my daughter.
Well, yeah, maybe if she was sober and not high, she might have done something like that. But I don't think she realized they were there. She wasn't thinking about that at the time.
Right.
Your old child that's dead. That laid there and suffered for 6 hours. 6 hours. To the point where she was in the car for so long. All right, give us a minute.
While police deliberated, one officer stopped by to check on Rita.
Resting real good? You resting well? It looks like you're on me.
Wow.
Brittany offered more of her thoughts on the case.
Christina loved Rita. And that is probably the most upsetting part about it is she wanted that love in return and she couldn't get it. I don't care what anybody says. Drugs or no drugs. She did not care about Christina. All 3 months led up to that. And you could slowly see it. She was trying to find anybody in her power to take Christina off of her hands instead of doing it the legal and right way.
The detectives talking to Rita and Larry swapped around one last time, and a new investigator briefly sat down with Rita.
Can I tell you the older of this little girl? Can I tell you?
But must have been for me in the car because I watched my child every going.
I'm telling you, it's not telling you what you want to hear, but listen, I got a job to tell you and to let you know and to speak for this lady because she's not able to and never will again. Okay? Accidents happen. This is an accident that's not supposed to happen. This was no accident. If you want to sit there and dope and play games and you and Larry fight and you run around and this and that, turn your baby over to somebody that can take care of it. Don't let us have to come to the base dead in a car.
I've got medical problems.
You got big damn medical problems. You got something.
It didn't take long for the police to decide what the next step was.
Doesn't sound like they can handle this, sir. He hands money back. Come to arrest for homicide. Oh my God, man. Oh my God, no, please. Man. You're under arrest for homicide of that 12-year-old child. Stand up. Stand up. Oh my God. Your actions and the actions of Rita led to the death of that child. Ready to turn around and put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for the charge of homicide.
Oh my God, no!
Your actions and the actions of Mr. King led to the death of your daughter. And it pains me to call her your daughter.
Oh my God, my poor baby. It was an accident, I swear to God. It's an accident.
Well, the accident.
6 hours of laying in the car. Yeah, it was.
I just looked at the DVR. I watched it.
It was a child. It was a 12-year-old innocent child.
It was 6 hours.
Oh my God.
6 hours.
Oh my God, no.
We put her in that car at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m., and did not get her out of that car until 5.
No, my poor baby. Oh my God.
Somebody got to get her out. I can't. I can't do
Did
it.
you lock him down?
I did not double lock them.
Turn around, please.
Christina was left in the car for a total of 5 hours and 42 minutes. When her body was examined, medical professionals found burns on her legs, ruptured blisters all over her skin, and vomit in her lungs.
Oh my God. Oh, Jesus, man. She's got burns. Oh, Lord.
You said she's burned. How badly is she burned?
She's got her skin, man. I swear. Yeah, it's bad. I swear. Oh,
Okay.
Lord,
Do you know what burned her?
I guess maybe, man. And the car, it's got hot, bro. Because, you know.
Okay,
Lord,
the vehicle was running whenever you put her in there?
Oh, yeah, man. It was running. With AC wide open.
She turned blue from lack of oxygen. When first responders attempted to take her temperature, the thermometer maxed out at 109.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Her actual temperature could have been much higher. Hyperthermia, or extreme fever, was determined to be her cause of death. Horrifically, Larry was right when he spoke with 911, and rigor mortis had already begun to set in when Christina's body was removed from the vehicle. This process begins approximately 2 hours after death, meaning that Christina likely perished before Rita and Larry even left to go get the second set of keys. Eerily, it wasn't as if Rita hadn't looked through the window and seen her daughter. She'd checked on 5 separate occasions, but one may never be able to ascertain her intentions behind those checks.
Oh my God, I was just in the bad dream. Oh my God.
No, it's not a bad
dream.
Wake up. The dream's over. It's a nightmare.
Shortly after being arrested, Rita and Larry broke up for good. The results from the blood test confirmed that methamphetamine was in both of their systems. There was a significant delay in court proceedings due to COVID-19, so a verdict wasn't reached until late 2023. While out on bail during this time, Rita remarried to a man named Tony in November of 2022. In an exclusive interview with Iwu, Tony admitted that he was not aware of the case when he and Rita started dating.
My opinion of her did not change because I know what type of person she is. She is a really good person.
Rita's daughters also continued to stand by her side.
My mom on August 5th was not the Rita like we know. And drugs do that to people, whether you take them by choice or by not. That is the reality and the consequences of drugs.
She's not the person that the media, has stressed or made her out to be. They witnessed a couple of days of her life that ended in a horrific, tragedy that we'll never forget. But that's not her.
At the end of the day, I was like, it doesn't matter what anyone tells me because I don't have my little sister anymore. I don't care about the facts.
Elizabeth was the one who later planned Christina's funeral. It was Dora the Explorer themed, since that was one of Christina's favorite things.
We even played We're Going on the Adventure song at the funeral.
In September 2023, Rita and Larry were convicted of murder and inflicting great bodily harm to a child. Rita had this to say about her sentencing.
Prison can't even be as hard on me as I have been on myself the last 4 years. It was it shouldn't have happened, but it was an accident. And if they would have charged me with negligent homicide, involuntary manslaughter, I would have taken a plea deal because it shouldn't have happened.
They would not offer me negligent homicide. They wanted to make an example of me, I guess. And they have. I should have made better decisions.
Rita was sentenced to 37 years for murder, along with 20 years for great bodily harm to be served concurrently. Larry was sentenced to 32 years for murder, with a concurrent 20-year sentence for great bodily harm. Neither are eligible for parole. Rita said she's currently in the appeals process.
Do I deserve to be in prison for the rest of my life? I don't think I do.
No matter what, Christina's tragic loss changed the family forever, and she is greatly missed.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to get myself back together here. Whew. It's hard to watch.
Oh my gosh. Like I gotta take a minute for all
Mm,
that. That was
right?
intense. That was intense.
Yeah.
The new dude didn't even know.
Mm. Yeah,
The
that's pretty
new,
crazy. And then he's like, my opinion of her didn't change. Dude, did did you even know the woman?
Hmm.
Nobody mentioned it. She didn't speak of her beloved daughter that she claimed to love so much. She didn't even tell her new husband about this child. Ugh.
yeah.
Everyone, make sure you give Ewu some love on their channel. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. Go over there and give them some love because
That
I
was
think
well done.
I think I've seen like 2 or 3 other videos, and I've even used probably 2 of them. This is the second one, but I started
Mhm.
watching this one earlier, and I thought I couldn't watch anymore. I had to pause it. I was like, I'm gonna watch this tonight. I might even go live on it. Never heard of this case. It's always better if you don't know anything about the case. That way, you can be genuine with your reactions and exactly
Mhm.
how you feel about it. You know what I mean? Do you think that they
Yeah.
should have gotten a harsher sentence, Debbie?
I think the sentence is appropriate. I
Yeah,
wouldn't have gone for negligent homicide. No, no,
yeah.
I think she needs to sit her butt in jail for the rest of her life. Period. Because you can't take that back. I saw I watched the trial, and it was extremely hard to watch the medical examiner go over all the injuries. She was fried. She was covered in blisters. It's horrible. I can't even say it. It was the description was it was mm-mm.
Well, I know how we're talking about this one, but there's been other situations with dogs and small children that they haven't even been under the influence of chemicals, and they've left their
Mhm.
children unattended, and they come back, and their children or the dogs or whatever have been deceased.
Right. And there are cases where it is an accident, and I don't think those people should be charged with murder in those cases. There are legitimate accidents. Most of the time when it happens in a pure accident situation, it's because there's been a sudden change to the schedule. You know, mom usually takes the child to school, but today she's not feeling well, she's running late, so dad does it, and he forgets the child in the back of the car. Just for one example, things like that have happened. A change in routine, you know. And there's so many devices out there that you can get nowadays, that will help you remember. But even in those cases, how do you remember to put that device in the back seat with the child? How do you really forget your
I
child?
mean, I don't know how you would forget your child. I mean,
I don't either.
I've seen movies where they make jokes about it. Not really jokes, but these movies were comedy, like Raising Arizona. What popped into my head was when the criminals left the baby after robbing the bank. They left the baby on top of the the vehicle, and then they went back, and the baby was in the middle of the road in the car seat. But I mean, in real life, that's not how it happens. Yeah, Home Alone, that's another one. How do you? I mean, I could have seen how that one
Raising
happened.
Arizona.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, how do you've been a mother or you're a mother? There's mothers in the chat. There's grandmothers. Is it just a innate place in your head where you say, "Don't forget the child. Don't forget the child." I mean, have you ever had to tell yourself that?
No, it's routine. It is routine. That's why there are a few cases that I've seen where it was clear that it was a sudden change in the routine that
Mhm.
caused the forgetting. And in those cases, yes, tragic accident, absolutely. But most cases, it's not. It's negligence.
Yeah.
It's a
Angela
law.
said it.
Oh,
Yeah. Go ahead and read that. I was going to read
oh,
that.
she says
Go
it's a
ahead.
law in Florida that you can legally break someone's window to get a dog and, of course, a child. Excellent. I don't care what state I'm in. I run across a child in a car. I'm breaking the window. Give me a ticket. Somebody will bail me out. I don't care. I'm gonna get in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, in this case, that I saw, I didn't break the window to get to this child. I just sat there, and she came out a couple minutes later. If it would have been more than a couple of minutes, I would have went ahead and run into the store and told
But
somebody.
to be fair, also is people usually use the excuse, well, the car is running, the AC's on, they're okay. But
Yeah,
you
so
never
you might
know,
as well just hand it over to us to somebody that's going to steal your car. Then
or even worse, what if that AC malfunctions in the process because it's running and it malfunctions and like they were saying it was blowing hot air. You just never know how hot, how cold that air would blow in to begin with. Maybe it
or
was malfunctioning. Maybe there was a leak. It ended up malfunctioning and cooking the interior. It was just terrible.
the only plausible explanation that I could give, giving her any benefit of any doubt, would be maybe she thought she turned it on. Maybe she turned it on to AC mode. You know how you can just turn it on a little bit and just to hear your radio, for example. Maybe she thought she turned it on because in AC mode, if you turn on your car just to AC mode and then you turn on your AC, it's not going to work.
Right.
It's going to be blowing. So that is a possibility, but I don't think she turned the car on. I really don't.
Right.
And then,
Aquarius, I'm
as
glad you
moms
did
know,
that.
what if your child got out of there? Let's say you left your 2-year-old in the car seat while you run into the convenience store, and you think your kid's okay. Your car's running, AC's on, heat's on, whatever is necessary, and you're just going to run in there for some milk. You don't want to carry your kid with you, right?
Right.
What if your child, because we all know our kids are masters at getting out of car seats. What if they got out of that car seat and put that car in reverse or something, and then that car goes out into traffic and boom, gets hit by a vehicle?
Yeah.
You just don't risk it. I raised 3 children, and now I'm raising 3 grandchildren. I've never once in my 33 years of being a mother have I ever left my kids in the car, ever. They
I
all
mean,
3 went to go
I
get her dinner
understand
with
it.
me.
I understand it. They're pain. You don't want to fight with them over not buying
Mhm.
them something or whatever. You're just like you said, you're just going in there for a couple things. You're saying, well, they'll be all right. They're with the oldest. He's mature, she's mature. They'll take care of them.
Or
But
they're asleep.
yeah, you just never
Mhm.
know. You
Yeah,
just
you don't
never
want to wake up the baby just to go in the store and get, one thing
right.
or whatever. No, I never did it myself.
You're right, Toes. Regardless if that car had the best AC, 6 hours is neglect. You're right on
Yeah.
point right there.
Yeah,
100%.
that trumps everything.
Yeah.
She went
I
in to
mean,
get high and have sex and didn't care about her daughter. Period.
period. Yeah. I mean, some that's why I've always told my clients this, and I tell the juvenile this now. I said, you might think of yourself as a victim right now because you're having to face consequences for your actions. But as human beings, we're one action away from losing our freedom, losing our lives. We're one decision away from that most of the time in life.
Right.
We have to always be aware of what's going on around us, whether we're doing what we need to do or we sidetracked by the cell phone, anything, anything could happen. I
But
I get pulled over for speeding because I'm messing with the radio, talking on the truck phone, like it's all these distractions, I think.
so true, Aquarius. You lose your freedom when you have a child. Too bad. Be a parent.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, it's no longer about you. Period.
Yeah.
Was my volume okay for the last several minutes? Because I just realized I had my mic flipped all the way up.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I mean,
Okay.
it's not too loud. I saw a news clip of a child locked in the car, and there were some guys in community service work on the road, and cops used a couple guys to break into the car, and they got the door open super fast. Yeah.
Awesome.
You know, you do what you need to do. I mean, it's going to make the person mad, but hey, if they got to repair that window, at least they have a kid that's alive. At least somebody cared enough to be proactive rather than let somebody's mistake become a deadly one, you know?
Right. Yeah, this was a very sad case for sure. What a sweet little girl. And especially, she's so vulnerable. She might as well have been a baby
Right,
in a
exactly.
preteen's
Because
body, you know?
yeah, because she couldn't do anything for herself. She couldn't do anything for herself. I mean, I can't imagine all those blisters on her and the burns. I mean, I still can't understand the burns, but I guess from the leather seats. I mean, that the only thing that makes sense to me, you know, because they said she had burns on her.
All over her, the way that
Yeah,
Emmy described it. All over her
yeah.
back, her legs,
So
even
you
some on
think
her
that would have
face, her
been
arms. It was bad.
from the leather seats?
I think they estimated there was an expert that got up there and estimated that the internal temperature of the car got he estimated about 180 degrees inside the car
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
during that time. Yeah.
Angela says, I'm over 50 years old. My daughter is 30. I've never, ever, ever, ever forgot about my daughter in a vehicle. Never.
I mean, you can take an apple and a banana and slice them thinly and put them on a piece of parchment paper or aluminum foil and put that in your oven at 180 degrees for 5 hours. And guess what you have? You have homemade candy.
Yeah. I
So
didn't
what do
know
you think
that.
it's going to do
I
to a
didn't
baby?
know that. Good recipe there.
Yes, it's actually very good. It's literally 180 degrees for 5 hours, and you will have own homemade fruit chips. Yeah.
You know, I've seen videos where people like put cookie dough on the on the in their vehicles during the summer and it's baked those cookies. So people can't be naive whenever they're thinking, well, it's only heat. I'll be back in a minute.
Mm.
You get
No.
distracted in that store. I mean, you get distracted.
Here in the summer, and now this was South Carolina, okay? So there as well, it gets really hot in the summer. But here you can fry eggs on top of your car or the sidewalk in
Yeah,
August.
yeah. Hey, Glitter, thank you for being here. This has been such an intense video to watch. I don't know, it wore me out. I was sitting here going,
No.
man, this is a lot of emotion right here. Like, and you don't want to feel sorry for the mom or the boyfriend because they were responsible. But you know what's hard for me being a therapist is I'm objective on every stance. So unless I'm certain of the guilt,
Yeah.
I still leave that little bit of benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean?
Exactly, because you have to be objective, not subjective, and look at
Right.
everything from both sides, and all the way up until the point, and well, several points in this video, the CCTV thing.
Yeah.
I tried to give her every benefit of the doubt, but she failed on every single point.
Yeah. I mean,
It'd be different if something had happened and it was 30 minutes later and it was a tragic accident, and maybe the car was running. You remember the moonroof was cracked
yeah.
open. If there was an accident, I would definitely have sympathy. But no,
I
she can
mean,
just
6 hours. 6 hours.
yeah. Hey, thank you, Aquarius.
Yeah. Please post anybody else in here who has a channel, please post their link in the chat if you will. It would just I don't know. I would bust out a lot of windows if somebody was yelling, my kid's in the car, my dog's in the car, my grandma's in the car, you just never know. It doesn't necessarily have to be just a child. It could be an elderly person that locked themselves in the car. You
Right.
know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. It just 6 hours is a long time. So I was
Very.
gonna ask you an email. I guess I'll just go and ask you now because I'll probably forget to send it because I have a long weekend ahead and I'm gonna go to bed here in a little bit. Um, this has to deal with the Idaho 4 case. I remember you doing a couple of interviews with Kara.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering if you'd be open to maybe doing a live on one of those. I think she did a little better on the second one than she did the first one. I think she was really nervous the first one, but I was wondering if you'd be willing to replay those on my channel or your channel, and I'll be over there, whichever, and we could do some commentary. Maybe give people an insight that they haven't seen about Kara. Because there's a lot of people that have only heard about her,
Mm-hmm.
but she's kind of drifted into a memory. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's sad.
I don't know if you'd be open for that or not. I
Sure,
mean,
yeah, we can do it here. Here would be fine. There, I mean, or if I can't make it, you can use the video, the lives,
okay.
whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah, because I mean, I watched both of them, and I think the second one, she was a little more. I mean, the stage fright, I guess, had gotten past her at that point, and she was a little more
Yeah.
involved. The first
And
one, she was.
by that time as well, I had probably talked to her, like 60 hours on the phone by in
Oh, okay.
between those two as well. I'd talked to her for
Right.
a couple of weeks before the first one and then for weeks after as well. Yeah, she's
Man, she was dealing with so much right
mhm.
there at the end. I mean, I
And so much
spoke with
hate.
her a little bit on Facebook, not like
Awesome, Heather.
on the phone or anything like that, but during that time, she was trying to, the place where she was staying, they
Mhm.
were demanding a lot of her, and she was struggling. She wasn't making a lot
Yeah.
of money, and she was trying to hold on to her sobriety and everything else, and she was really in a bad spot.
She got
You know?
screwed over so several times by people that were supposedly claiming they were going to help her, with place to
Mhm.
stay and stuff. They ended up messing her up. Yeah, it was bad.
No, not Kara Willis. Kara Worthington or Kernodle. Xana's
Chernobyl,
mom.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was thinking about that the other day because I was thinking, Kara never really has gotten a voice in all this. You gave her a voice, but a lot of other people have only looked at her in such a negative light
Yeah.
because of her choices. And I was thinking about that tonight while we were watching this, and I was like, well, damn, that could have, I mean, not that it would have been the same thing, but, she was addicted to meth, and she struggled and she did a lot of stuff. Um, but still, I guess we hold out in our heart that people can change, you know?
Oh yeah, they can totally change. I could show you photos of my son before he got clean and after now, and I got my boy back, you know. You can get
Hmm.
your person back, if they get clean and sober. He looks healthy and handsome again. I'm very proud of him. But he had to do it on his own, you know.
Yeah.
He had to do that all on his own.
And you're right, Heather. I believe that as well. I believe that people use her addiction to distance her from Xana, like she wasn't her mom. And
Oh yeah.
she gave birth to her. You know what I mean? So addict or not,
And
she
she was not absent from her life either.
right, right. I mean, because I was watching somebody's live the other day and they were going through I guess it was a news broadcast or something, and they were talking about how, one of the victims grew up, how the other one grew up, and then they were talking about Xana, and they were talking about how the two, Maddie and Kaylee, had it pretty good. At that point in life, Xana was getting evicted. Her mom was getting evicted. she was losing Xana, or they were moving and all kinds of stuff, and it really gave a perspective on how different all four of these children grew up.
Yeah. And Xana was a wonderful young lady.
Yeah.
She was making good choices for her life, and she wasn't going down a bad path. There is no evidence that any of those kids were doing anything than what? Maybe marijuana? Who cares? There's no
Right.
proof of anything else. There's so many horrible stories and conspiracy theories and accusations against the victims
Oh my
and their
God.
parents. I have seen the ugliest rumors about almost all of the parents too,
Yep.
and none of them are true.
I mean, I was watching one earlier. It's like these newer channels, all of a sudden they're getting on board with some of the old conspiracies that kind of died out. They're reigniting those fires. There was one earlier that I was watching, and this lady was talking about how Maddie and Kaylee dressed when they were 14 on social media, and what kind of parents would allow their kids to dress like that, and they were minors and this and that.
Yeah. Oh, please. Did you see the photos?
No.
They were.
No. I caught the
They look like
the end
Miley
of it.
Cyrus,
I caught the end of that one. I was just like,
oh my
I was
word. There was,
watching it. And I was like,
yeah.
um, is this lady really saying this stuff? Another one was, I guess it was the same lady where she was talking about lovers or something. The same lady. I don't know. But I was watching the end of it. I was thinking, oh my God, how are you even rehashing this conspiracy here? This has been played out. The OnlyFans, all that other stuff, all that other crap. It's nobody has proof that that happened, and if they do, they need to show it. They need to show the receipts,
Their
but they
only
don't.
receipts are Reddit.
Right, right,
That's the
right.
receipts.
Exactly.
These
Right.
crazy people, like, oh man, I could get into all of that. Like the Kim WSU mom and Dot and Brett Norton and oh
Oh
gosh, there
my
was
gosh.
Brandon, Justin. There's a whole list of them that all started over at Reddit and TikTok and brought the crap over here. Yeah. WTF, Mom Kim. I love it. Yeah, there are so many people. Just one point about her. There are so many people that still believe that's a real person because she connected her name to a Facebook name, and the old posts of hers started out kind of not really saying a whole lot, and then started saying more and more and more.
Well, the fact of the matter is,
Uh,
she's still saying stuff to this
she's
day.
popping back
I
up, and
mean,
that's
to this
why it's kind of
day,
reigniting. Yeah,
to this day, she's still saying stuff. I mean,
Heather's like,
I,
don't get me going.
I mean, I'm like,
Yeah,
I try not to go down those roads because I'm like, I went through the whole Dot situation, went through the Dave situation, went through all that, just
Dave.
like you
Yeah,
guys, and I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. There's no way these people have any new information. If they did, my whole thing is this, okay? And I hold true to this, and I don't know how you feel about it. If you disagree, that's fine. We agree to disagree. But to me, if you had any kind of valuable information that you viewed as evidence that you've uncovered that shows something malicious has happened, or that you have factual evidence that you can see to provide to the police or to the FBI, why wouldn't you do that rather than show it on YouTube? Why would you just show
exactly.
it on YouTube? Why wouldn't you? And even if you did turn it over, they'd be like, do not be playing that. Do not be talking about it. Do not, they'd almost
Well, yeah,
gag you.
and exactly, and that did happen to me once. That I was sent some information, and before putting it on my channel, I contacted that law enforcement agency, and they did confirm, don't put that out, and I never have. Period.
Hmm.
I will be showing that later after the trial.
Right,
I will show that to show my receipts on that
right.
later, but I can't yet, and I'm not going to because it's something, and it's not even in this case. It's in another case that's still open. And if I put that out there, then that could tip off a suspect.
Right.
And you just
Another
never want
thing,
to do that. You never want to help a suspect.
another thing is like, if you really had these type, lucrative evidence, regardless where your stance is on the person accused, if you're really out for justice, you're going to be looking out for the best interests of the families and the victims.
Yes.
Whatever your opinion might be about the families, it's not about them. It's about the victims. But they're
Yep.
attached to the victims. So you can't ignore that fact. You can't just say, well, it's not about, the families are bad or this and that and the other. You can do what you want. But I'm stating for myself, I would never be able to do that because they're attached. They're grieving. They're still having to hear, they're going to have to hear all the awful things that went on.
I'm trying to
You
be
know?
serious here, dude, but Heather's killing me. Look at her
How the hell do you what part?
all of her last.
I know she gets
I love
going.
it.
She gets going. You started her with WSU Mom Kim. There you go.
Oh man. Oh yeah, that was a trip. But yeah, that's what matters. Just waiting for the facts and not jumping the gun and making up crap, to fill in holes. And it all comes down to, the money involved for channels. That's all.
I never heard that, Toes. He said if you go back and listen to T Rev's show when this case started, WSU Mom was a caller. There was a black lady with two sons that went to WSU. I never knew that, but I might
What?
have
Do you know
to.
the date on that?
I might have to go look at that.
What? I remember I played it on my channel because it was hilarious. WS, whatever, Kim Fraud Lady called into called into the Cuomo show about the case, saying that she knew stuff, and they put her on the air, and she starts spewing some nonsense, and she got about 15 seconds in, and they cut her off. And somebody put that clip on YouTube. They cut her off. I want to know the date frame for that, Toes, if you happen to remember.
Yeah, the plumber wrench. I remember Detective John going with that angle. I mean, even as abrasive as he was, or as people see him at times, he was really trying to be kind to her on that interview. And then she said that, and about that email and everything, it was just like, man, why do you want to interject yourself so much in this case?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's proper things that we can do because as you know, YouTubers, YouTube creators, content creators, we are all, as everybody else is, we're all press. So we should behave as press in all
Right.
manners. If you need to reach out to law enforcement or even a family member if they're willing to speak, or a witness, we're free to do that. We are free to do that if we do so responsibly, if we're not contacting people to heckle them or for malicious reasons. If we're literally investigating something, we're actually free to do that as long as we stick to the ethics of journalism. That is where people should draw the line.
Right.
Behave appropriately. But some people don't do that. Some people just go way above and beyond and harass and stalk families. And it's just, I don't need to name the name.
Well, I
But
mean,
yeah,
there's a lot of people that have formed themselves an identity on these YouTube streets by knowing or identifying with the case or supposedly knowing people in the case and all this other stuff. My thing would be this: if you're that connected, I know they wouldn't gag you unless you knew stuff about that night that you were telling on the internet. But
right.
what would be the purpose of coming out? Like if I went to school with Brian, like college, and he was in the same class as me, and even if we were buddies, I don't believe that I would be brave enough to come online and be like, me and Brian, we used to kick it. We used to go, chase girls together, and we used to get drunk in the bars and get obnoxious and all this other stuff. How we even did
Yeah.
heroin together, all this and that. I don't think it would be fair to him to not to be able to defend himself, whether you're being real about him or not. That's not fair to him.
Willie,
Is that
yeah.
not?
What
Is
happened
that
to
not
Willie?
true?
Where is he at? What happened to him?
I'm not calling any names, but you know what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like
Well, I mean, he was
Brian.
public. He
Brian's
was
not
public
here.
about it, so
Right, Brian's not here to really defend himself one way or
right.
the other, and that's when all those interviews in the beginning of those girls that were talking about, that one girl said she went on a date with him,
Mhm.
childbirthing hips at the end, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
none of that stuff is relevant. None of it. I mean,
Right.
some of the
Yeah.
old stuff actually was some of his old Tapa Talk things. That
Yeah.
could give you some insight into the person,
Right.
but birthing hips. I got them birthing hips.
I
I
mean,
had an
she
8
said
pounder,
that
9 pounder, then a 10 pounder. I have the birthing hips.
she said that, and I was like, okay, what that have to do with anything? She made
Yeah.
herself go throw up in the bathroom to get him to leave. I mean, if you felt that way about him, why didn't you just say, "Hey, Brian, I'm not feeling it. You need to go." Not even let him into your house to watch another movie. Isn't that what people would
Well,
do?
some people are just out for their 15,
Uh,
They embellish. Birthing hips
birthing
too.
hips. You brought out women calling their birthing hips out. Wow.
My
Wow.
birthing hips bring all the boys to the yard.
That is crazy. Angela says, "Hey, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy." No, not at all. But I got one for you. Is it possible that Willie and FFS lived together?
Who's FFS?
Viviana.
No.
Why
Oh.
would you think? Why would you think that? Why would you think that, Angela? Give us the rest of it. Heather, you're
Oh,
on one. That-
you know more than me.
She does have a bird that
I
when
lost
she.
track of him when he went over to Clues, and yeah,
I don't know. I don't know anything about Willie. I mean, I
I don't either.
saw him on Dagos and I've seen him on Clues. I think he hangs out somewhere else, but I don't know.
Yeah, she was saying some really vile things about the case and the victims and survivors,
He said something one
and I
night
just
that
stopped
got me
watching.
thinking. But when I heard the talking bird, I was like, wait a minute here. Oh,
How do you feel? I do want to. Maybe we could save this for if we get together on going over Kira's interview, but I want to know what you think about the survivors and what they had to say, all of that, the 8 hours and all of that. Very, very interesting conversation because I've had it several
yeah,
times with many
yeah.
people.
We can definitely discuss that when we're talking about Kara. I think that would be an interesting dialogue because I do have a little bit of a theory on that. Um, but like, I don't know if people really get my perspective on the whole case. It's like I might have a understanding about the case, but I'm looking at it more from the inside out rather than from the outside in. You get what I'm saying? Like I try to put myself in the house throughout the whole timeline and all that stuff, and
Mhm.
as far as the roommates, I mean, I think between both of them, if either one of them were going to be suspect to me, it would be Bethany.
Hmm.
It really would. It'd be more Bethany than it would Dylan.
I haven't had any. I haven't seen anything that makes me suspect either one, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm
But
just
I'm gonna
saying,
hear.
like if I were to choose one, it would be Bethany. But
Do you care to share now, or do you want to save it?
I'll save it because I want people to come back and hear it. I want to come back and hear it. But I appreciate you coming up and
Yeah.
spending time and talking the case because I didn't know very much about this one, and obviously you had the footage and stuff as well. So possibly we can get together next week sometime, and I'll email you, and maybe we can set up a live on one of those interviews.
Okay.
You can go through them and decide which one's the best because I want to paint her in a good light. I didn't
I don't
hear.
think you really have to try to paint her in a good light. She just
Well,
happens to be a
well, yeah,
mom who struggled and lost her child. And I think people have
right,
put too much blame on her. She had
right.
nothing
But
to
I
do with
don't.
anything.
Well, let me refresh my words there. I don't want to have to paint her in a good light. I want
There
to
you
show
go.
her in the best
There you go.
possible experience possible that by watching those videos again to commentate on them because she
Yeah.
is a good person as far as I know based on the little time that I talked to her. She seemed real and legit, like an individual that I've met countless times sitting across the desk from me.
Mhm.
I could hear all that in her voice. I could hear that in the struggle. There was a lot of struggle there, and if you've never been where she's been at, it's very disrespectful to paint her in the light that you paint her and her child.
Yeah.
I mean that's with all of them, and that's my opinion. But especially Kara. And people might not like that, but if you've never been an addict,
Or
it's
known
more.
one.
Yeah, it's more than a choice. It's more than the lack
Right.
of willpower or any of that stuff.
It starts with a choice now, children. So just say no to drugs.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I'm going to wrap this up because I got to get on the road in the morning. But thank you
No,
so
he
much.
does not anymore, Rondi. He did, and oh yeah, don't even get me started on that one. He did at one
Oh,
point.
okay. Well,
You can
make
email
sure
me on that one. That was a
y'all know.
real
Y'all
mess.
know all the tea. Y'all know all the tea.
Yeah, there was more there than ever got put out. I don't really want to open that
Yeah, I
wound,
don't.
but
I mean, that's what I was saying. I don't want to get into that other part because
casting shade and all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to get into all that. So whichever one that one's on, we can do the other one. That's what I was trying to
Oh
say.
no, I don't think there's anything about that on either one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
nothing about that. It was behind the scenes stuff. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. All right. That's cool. All right, Debbie. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for being here. We're gonna call it a night. Y'all
Thanks
have a
for having me.
wonderful
You're awesome.
weekend. No problem. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye bye.
Thanks, chat. Bye, guys.
Thank you guys for being here, hanging in with us for 2 hours again tonight. I don't know what it is with my lives and why they go so long. I'm just a long-winded person. So I'm sure you guys have appreciated that fact by now. This case was quite disturbing to say the least. And I'm going to have to do some praying tonight. Pretty hardcore for all involved. It's like every time you hear about a tragedy like this, it just adds to the list of prayer. So, you guys, if you're praying people or you're sending good vibes toward people, keep these individuals that not only are affected by the crime, but the individuals that have the crime, that are the victims of the crime, in your prayers or in your thoughts. Y'all have a wonderful night. And I ask you really quick, can you dig it? Can you dig it? If you can't dig it, you need to get a bigger shovel. Maestro, cue that music.